Alright, muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakarepo pano paZim News update apo patinoda kupa first hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So kana uri mutsva usabve pano usina kusubscribe, kulaika nekushare. Sekuziva kwatiri kuita naJoji Charamba ndo anokupa ine full information inonga iri kuitika mukati mehofisi yaPresident Emmerson Mnangagwa, because toziva kuti ndo maspokesperson vemuhofisi yaPresident Emmerson Mnangagwa, because wana vanogona kuvhiringidzika. Joji Charamba ndi spokesperson wemuhofisi yaPresident Emmerson Mnangagwa, then Christopher Mutsvangwa ndi spokesperson weparty yeZanu PF. So tiri kuona panapa kana mucharangarira muri yeZimbabwe pakamboenda President Emmerson Mnangagwa apo pavakaenda kunoona papu vekuroma, handichazivi kuti kuItaly here kana kuti ndikupi kwavakaenda. Vachizobva ikoko vakaenda naVirginia Mabhiza, Anthony General Virginia Mabhiza uya akabatsira pakunyora constitutional amendment yabill number 3 rida kugazeti rida kusainwa naPresident Emmerson Mnangagwa, but iwo vangasada kuti vanhu vazvizive, but takazoona kuti information yakazotobuda muri yeZimbabwe. Then wakaenda kuChina uko zvazviri kuitika ikoko, anachibvayo pakalika mazvima sort of like red passport and zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana. Takaona zvinhu izvozvo havana kuzvifarira. Then wakazoenda futi kwakazoenda kunosangana na Scott Sakupkanya anakuda tagwirei kuEswatini uko. So veruzhinji vanga vari kutaura kuti kusanganisana naTemba Muliswa vanga vari kutaura kuti Joji Charamba ndiye ari kulikisa information iyoyo. Sezvo tinoziva kuti Joji Charamba vakamboklasha naTemba Muliswa, vakaklasha chaizvo muri yeZimbabwe. Handidi kunyepera kutokulasha chaizvo kutoti painge pakatoipa chaizvo kutoipa zvaizvo zvekutoti Temba Muliswa ane rufungidziro rwano rwekutoti anoda kureplace shungu dzake iye anoda kuti Joji Charamba anga achifaiwa, because Joji Charamba ndiana team Chiwenga. So ananga achitaura kuti iwe seuri kukundwa na Jonathan Moyo ari kukinya uko akatiza nguva yana Mugabe iya ndiye ari kumiririra President Emmerson Mnangagwa, but iwewe ndiwe spokesperson wemuhofisi yaPresident Emmerson Mnangagwa, but uri kuramba vakanyarara. So tiri kuona panapa pane mashoko anyorwa naRutendo Matinyarare tira kuti tiwerenge tese muri yeZimbabwe munyasa kuona kuti chii chinonyatsa kumboitika. So tiri kuona panapa kanyorwa kunzi if you have ever watched Game of Thrones, Joji Charamba is like the wise old Vari. He is not only the spokesperson on the president, but a mouthpiece for the deep state of Zimbabwe. So when he started giving warning, because Joji Charamba akapa warning kuna President Emmerson Mnangagwa, akapa warning mamwe asina kumbomira zvakanaka. Tiri kuona kuti Joji Charamba akatombodzingwa basa akadzosewa basa, because vanenge vari kunyatsa kuzoda naJoji Charamba atori ma1. The smart one, listen, this I gathered by reading Bonyongwe's book. Grace Mugabe didn't listen to Georgia warnings, and we kunowasikazii Bonyongwe muri yeZimbabwe vairowa mari nguva dzana, because kune gananda zve zvisingatombozikana. Vairowa mari nguva dzana Mugabe zvekutoti kupurazi kwake ka kwainzi kubharo famu pakanyasa isu takanyasa unoti imari iri kushanda apa, imari noti zviya zvekutoti kwanzi mari iri kuinvestwa, imari iri kungonyokorwa, because purazi pazisango pachichi utenga mazi harvester anosvika ari 10 mamisfigasoni maziharvester zaya matrakita achiuya achisvika kuma 30 something once. Zvinhu zvichingoitika in sort of like in 6 months. Zvinhu zvanga zvazara ipapo, dzimba dzemamanagers paine mamanagers aisvika kuma 8 vachigara kumadheudheu, kwobva kwazoti kwaigara vashandi wacho akaemploya vanhu asvika kuma 500. Zvinhu zvo zvakaitika in 6 months muri yeZimbabwe. Onyatsa unoti mari iyi pane peri kutonyokorwa chete, haisi mari yekutsvaga chichi chimwaya. So tiri kuona panapa ndo zvimashoko ataura warning, we know where she ended up. It's in handisuzoti richikufunction repurachira kwabonyongwerero. It's in the interest of our president to listen to Charamba where there is still room to change. Temba on the other hand is like a little finger of Jonathan Moyo who led many king of destruction. Tiri kuona panapa muri yeZimbabwe ndo zviri kuitika. So tiri kuda kuti tiende, handizivi kuti ndosvikereko kana kuti ndokuendesai kune makomboredi wetinawo pano, tinyase kuona kuti nhauwa idzi tinyase kufamba nadzo, munyase kuona kuti dziri kunyatsa kumbofamba sei nhauwa idzi. Tiripo pano muri yeZimbabwe tira kuti tikupakurirei aya mashoko akanyorwa naTemba Muliswa aya muri yeZimbabwe. Tiri kuona panapa ari kutaura Joji Charamba uya spokesperson wemubato reZanu PF. So tiri kuona panapa zvandatombotara kumashure, why are some of you acting surprised by allegation that George Charamba should be investigated for letting down the president. The guy has a history of betraying his principles. Muri yeZimbabwe tiri kuona ndiye spokesperson wemuofisi yapresident ari kutaura naTemba Muliswa kutoti no hey ari kutaura naTemba Muliswa muri yeZimbabwe kutoti mukomana uyu anobhitira maprinciples ake because team iri rinonga richisurviva kubva nguva dzekudhara dzana Mugabe dzana Mnangagwa vachingoenda vp hari muri kuona nokwati pakati nepakati vp Chiwenga vachipinda vanongopinda because havana problem nawo, havana kana chiwazosiyana navamwe vanhu vanenge vari kubuda pamberi side of like ana Daniel Garwe ndo nguva yana Mugabe yana Kasukuwere ana Jonathan Moyo ani mazvona. Kune vamwe vakatopinda navo pamuchinguru vakabva kwaMugabe vakatopinda kwa Mnangagwa chichi anacho Charamba vanongoita zvinhu zviri pakati nepakati. So tiri kuona panapa Mai Mugabe released it and called him out in public before well. At that time he caused appealed noble. The underlying factor was still betrayal of a principal. Well, Professor Jonathan Moyo, who he worked with, ran away with Jonathan Moyo with his professional dignity intact. How did he survive? It's an indication of suspicious conduct with may amount for sacrificing other for self. Muri yeZimbabwe tiri kuona panapa iye Temba Muliswa wacho mushomere hautombo sacrifice self ipapo andoto sacrifice hapana chochi Charamba kutoti uda kuti adzingwe because tiri kuona kuti ari kumhanya kunana Tino Machakaire ari kuenda kunana George Charamba achingoenda kuna vanhu vakasiyana siyana ari kungoti vanhu vadzingwe chete iye awana vacant rekutanga achipinda. So his latest conduct as a presidential spokesperson when the president came under siege has been very telling and speak of the compromised characters. His lake discount approach is not just absence of passion and initiative, but a willful removal of those factors to sabotage the president. One is to learn to save. One must have faithful and not muri yeZimbabwe andozopedzisa kuverenga pakatondipira chechepo regedzai tone kuti toita sei idzwe makomboreti vedida kumbotaura nawo panapa pakupatsanura nawo wadze kutoti constitution amendment bill number 3 rinomiswa yesei subscribe pano muri yeZimbabwe tirambe tichikupai maupdates tati chikupai kuti zviri kufamba sei uye zviri kuenda sei nawe constitution amendment bill ndokumbura
come up with this good approach of united as one, come up with I hope it's going to happen, but I bet you it's not going to happen. This is where the message is to say what are we doing about it. But let me yield my mic. It's wishful thinking. You can stick to that line that is not wishful thinking, but that should be supported by action. I'm waiting for that time and date. Maybe I shall be there.
Yes, we got the message. We got the message. So it's not wishful thinking because there are many elements and many factors contribute to people coming together. People being subjected, under Operation Rule, it's a call for people to unite, and people being subjugated for a long time, the lengthy period of it being subjected, and people's freedoms constantly taken away, it actually what's built up to bring about this unity of purpose, and then the ideas of conscientizing our people. The moment we cease and start to be quiet about it, that's when we lost it. Even when we start to push the message like it remains a dream, and it can never be attained. That's when you start to lose it. But however, that quest in every human being, that cry, that quest for freedom, for people to be free, it's a universal. It's a universal feeling in each and every individual. This is what has brought people together. So to speak of time and date, I tell you, even when some united forces went to mobilize to fight, they never come up with the date when will they attain their freedom, because some were willing to die for it. So until we get into that mode, we might be losing other comrades, but victory, freedom is actually certain and it's coming. And that unit of purpose,
And that's where the
it's,
ancestors come in, right?
yeah,
That's where your spirituality comes in. It's psychological. We've got to look at examples where we did win. And one of the examples we can look at is Haiti, IT. That's where we won. We didn't have the guns. We didn't have and the biggest, baddest army at the time was Napoleon's army of France. And it was a 10-year war, I believe, maybe longer than that. But we won that war. So, and they called on their spiritual science. So are we Christians now? And we've lost our spiritual science. We've lost our mind like that because part of the will to because we're talking about conscientizing. That's what you said, conscientizing. This is the psychological part. This is where we call on our culture, we call on our ancestors and our science to win. And if we're Christians, we have been captured. If we're Muslims, we have been captured. So
I hope
that's what.
somebody's listening there. How can you unite with the broken culture? This is spiritual. It's a spiritual war. You have to take it from where they left it, our ancestors. I I hope I'm sure I'm getting you right. So I don't have much to say. But I have a question to say. I don't know if people are hearing what you're saying. What you said in a few words is so profound. And we are far from that. We are divided on that.
What's the division? Is it because we Christians? That's the.
Christianity, they
Ugh.
adopted Hinduism, whatever it is. We are not who we are. So if I'm getting you right, there's a problem there.
Yep.
Word for word, you have to put in all those things like you're saying, spirituality, connection, that connection. First, you have to realize who you are first before you can fight an enemy or you articulate a problem. Anything else is just fidgety, in my view.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to know the three things. Who are you? Where are you? And what time is it? Those are the three questions that a psychologist will need to know on how to treat you. And one of the things about us here in the U.S. is that because of our situation, we were not able to keep a lot of the things, but it didn't go completely away. And so now, what our Black studies and Afrocentrism did was awaken us, help us to remember who we are. And by knowing who we know where we are in human history. We know the contributions that we made to the world. And then we know what time it is. And we're not confused about the time. Those of us who were students of that, I'm from the 80s. I'm a kid of the 80s. So, uh, the little that we knew about Robert Mugabe, he was the hero for us. He was like, he could do no wrong. We didn't know the stuff that happened later. Um, but to take back the land, what? That was it. And then we was trying to get apartheid ended, and that happened. But a lot of effort went into that. So those were wins for us. Some of those things, those were wins. And so we've got to remember the wins. We got to remember who we are, and understand that any ideals that Europeans brought into Africa was to dominate us. I just was listening to John Henry Clark. There has been nothing that the Europeans have brought into Africa that wasn't made for dominating us. Everything that they did. So uh, we have to remember that.
um, Zimbabweans. Anyway, I just wanted to ask as Zimbabweans, guys, we spend hours, but we need to um, come up with something. By end of the day, let's have something together. Like we are great. We're citizens. We're united. let's agree and come up with something. I'm not saying it might go this way, it might go, but let's be prepared. Remember what we said, we're not political party, we're not affiliated. We've seen what has been going on and all that stuff. And look at now in Kenya, all these African leaders in Kenya, hero worshipping Macron. Come on, guys. Warume, what is that? Macron is looking for where he can tap in. He has been kicked out some of these countries. And then, what's his name? The president says he needs to go and fight those other Africans. Come on. Some Africans, we have to unite. As long Westerners suppressing us, we have to unite and all that stuff. Like I've told you, until we change the way our country is run, our African countries are run, nothing will never move forward. By end of day, our minerals are gone. Who makes the money? The Westerners. We can get made na ED and all. Guess who run those things? I've told you, those secured warehouse to get an SKR, those are Westerners. We eat breadcrumbs.
So, Cyril, you are against the Westerners, you are against Mnangagwa. Who are you for?
Who said I'm against? Who said I'm against? I'm not talking against. You don't understand.
You were against, you were talking against
Listen,
Macron.
what I'm saying to you, we need to change our ways, Africans, the way we run our governments and run our minerals. I'm not against it, but what I'm saying, this system was brought by a white man. You know what I'm saying? We need to change and take control as Africans.
So you want us to fight white people as well?
No, I'm not. You don't understand my message. The system, the way system is run and all that stuff. We can run our own thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not against.
What does that mean? What does running your own thing is exactly mean?
My
Because
brother,
you lash
I think,
Macron.
you know what? Let's just cut it off. You know what I'm saying? I cannot be talking to you. Let me cut it off. You know what I'm saying? I just want.
I have the energy. You know, my brother. I'm not gonna be. Look,
Yeah.
apologies later. Whether you are paid or not, whether I am paid or not, there are people who are not talking right now. They are listening to me. They are listening to you. What you are bringing, this confusion, it's nonsensical, and don't take it, personal.
Oh, we don't want people who just say things to entertain us. We want to understand what we are trying to do. If people just come here like they are singing and they say we are against everything, what are we for?
People who are listening here.
Yeah, we shouldn't listen. It's not music.
I could
We
be
want
wrong.
reality.
I could be wrong. You don't want to engage.
If you come here and you say you are against everything, what are you for? You must say what you are for.
Let me say to you what she said. She gave you an answer that you are not looking for. Unfortunately, she's not fighting a white man. She's not fighting Mnangagwa.
But she's lashing everyone. Everyone is bad.
The problem, anyone is listening here, that you do not want answers. Right now, I'm trying to, so that she can correct me. And I'm not going to apologize. You did not get what you wanted. You do not want to engage. You, my brother, call me out as well. This is the time, guys. We need to call each other. It's not time to waste here. She said none of the above, but the system. At least you've asked which system better. But you keep pushing people off the track, and I don't know why you're doing that. Not only Chera, and you're not the only one. And I'm not going to be shy to talk about that. Apologies later. If I'm wrong, but there seems to be a problem. Why can't we just school you or you school me? There are basics in engaging. Don't just throw spanners in the works. No. None of the above. She's not fighting Mnangagwa. And I'm not going to be shy. I mean, I don't like Mnangagwa. He's one of us. The problem is we are shallow. I included that. We think that if we fight Mnangagwa, that's the end of the road. It is a system that we need to crush. But you can't crush a system without a replacement of the system. You must have a fallback position. But who am I to mobilize people, to educate people? But I'm saying, I'm jumping in to say, look, my question, your question, I'll answer it that way. It's not about Mnangagwa. It's not about the white man. It's about me, you, who we are. Why are we in this predicament? It's a system of oppression. System of oppression which has been extended to system of divide and conquer. Is it difficult to understand? If you were genuinely engaging, surely you'd have added value to say, okay, just asking how do we create that system is adding value, but not this tinkering. It's not going to work. And I also ask you or anybody here to call me out the same way I'm calling you out. You're not a bad person, but we need to do that. You need to be very radical, guys. No apologies now, apologies later. We'll shake hands tomorrow when things are okay. Otherwise, we cannot fix anything. Just call each other out. No pretend. No pretending. There's no stopping now. New edition. There is no stopping now for the black man. And I'm not racial. I can't talk about women because I'm not a woman. I can't talk about white men because I'm not white. I'm talking about black. So I'm not racial.
These times are very different than any other time, than any other times we've been in. And the world is moving in a very, whew, very awesome way, for lack of better words. But we are at the precipice of this is the time. We either going to do it or we're going to be in a bad situation for a long period of time. And I think the young people is going to be the ones that going to move different than the older people, because they don't know, they didn't go through what we went through, and they don't like what they see, and they're not afraid, you know. And these smartphones have given them information, educated us in ways that we ordinarily wouldn't have the access to that kind of information. And I think that's making a difference as well. But I've been watching them. I saw the security conference in Berlin, Germany. Marco Rubio talking basically said, uh, well, you could either join us or not. We're going to continue to be the hegemony of over the world. They're basically going to re-up their efforts in terms of securing the future of the Western world, um, by positioning themselves in Africa. And then and they said, they were saying to Europe, now you can take the soft approach and just do whatever, but we're going to move forward. If you want to join us, fine. If you don't, that's your business. But the way that we've been working with you is changing. Their relationship has changed. NATO has changed. You've seen what happened with Greenland and how they were acting there. So these politics and this war going on in the Western Asia, so-called Middle East, all of these things are signs for us to see where things are going. And we know where things are going, especially if you're in on a continent, if you're aware, like we're aware in these Twitter spaces and these X spaces more than the regular people. So we see that going on. But all these other things that are happening is also things we have to pay attention to, so that we look at the macro picture and we see how it's affecting our countries, and then it informs us better on how we can move and what to do. And it's the beauty of me being able to talk to y'all. You might be in Zimbabwe, I'm in New York, somebody's in Nigeria, somebody's so I think that's kind of unexpected. There may be a time when they eliminate this whole thing, with the AI. That's another thing we have to pay attention to. what they're doing with AI. We got to really pay attention to that. So all of these things are things we have to put into the equation. We have to talk about it. Sometimes we tend to get stuck in our own myopic situations in our countries, in our whatever we're interested in. And every now and then you got to zoom out and look at the situation. But everywhere in the world, it's a mess. It's a big, everybody's feeling it too. It's a lot going on. So this is a time to, as we used to say when I was a kid, nut up. Strengthen up and be strong. Find ways to move the stress out. Do things to get the stress out. If I was in Africa, I would be where are the drums? Where's the dance? Because jumping up and down on that earth moves negative energy out of your body. The music is beautiful. Those simple things about our culture are things that keep us strong. It's the culture that keeps us strong, and so we gotta immerse ourselves in the culture. Stay away from these plastics and all this artificial food that it disrupts your endocrine, yeah, your hormones or whatever. Plastic, putting your food in plastic, eating out of cans. Um, it's a lot of stuff that they're doing that are, and we just follow it, right? Africa's 20, 30 years behind in some ways. And so the Western world is trying to eliminate certain things they found as harmful, and we're behind. And we're doing it just hook, line, and sinker, not even looking at the latest technologies or the latest things with regards to everything from agriculture to stuff that we're using. So all of these little things add to stress on us. So I just say, y'all, just try to live as simple as possible, but do what you got to do to be ready to move the revolution, whatever the revolution is, because revolution's not always going to be just physical, violent battle. It starts in the mind, and it starts with education. And so the more that we educate ourselves and educate the youth about our history and about what makes sense and common sense, like something's amiss, right? Something is amiss. And that's our common sense kicking in saying, this ain't right. Some shit's not right here. We know what ain't right. Now we can't be afraid to deal with what it is. And that's the other part of it. Because if we don't do shit, we're just gonna be crippling along, time will be going and the economy be low, the money won't be worth shit. We'll be importing food. Africa's importing 80% of its food. Makes no sense. Something's amiss. When you're importing, the continent of Africa is importing 80% of its food. It has the most 60% of all the world's uncultivated arable land. Make that make sense. So anyway, we have to encourage ourselves. This is time when it's kind of down, everybody's feeling it. Everywhere in the world, everybody's feeling it. So, I don't know what to say, y'all, other than unite. We have to unite, and what the AES is doing in the Sahel is a breath of fresh air. It ain't easy. You see them over there dealing with it, struggling. They're fighting France and Ukraine. We got to fight. There's no way out of this. You can't lay down in the bed and think it's going to be over. Think that you're going to just talk on Twitter and it's going to be it. Unite, or, as the elders say, perish. I'll land there.
Shah, are you there?
Yeah,
I don't know you.
you do. We've been having. We have. I looked in the messages. We used to
No,
talk.
I mean, listen to this. But I think we connect. I don't know you. I think we connect.
Yeah, we
Our
we had
spirits
conversations.
connect. Our spirits connect, not me and you. As people, so I want to know what brings you here. What's your interest from
I
that
used to be in
positive
the room with
note?
Marcy. Remember, I know Marcy, and me and you
No, no,
had
no. I
conversation.
want to rephrase.
Okay,
When we connect spiritually, I don't know you,
okay.
but something brings you here,
Mm, okay.
which relates to what you said. I'm not creating anything. Those who listen to understand. That question is so profound. It speaks to my heart. I want to know what drives you, not only in this space, in a discussion of this nature. Maybe that will make my question clear, because people, there's anonymity. When you ask, people no longer simple say, I beg your pardon. We are busy. We are quick to jump at each other's throats and start attacking. But I think I've done that just now to say that question is so positive. I want to know what drives you, where do you derive your energy from? Uh, because I think we connect, not me and you. Those who connect, they connect. What brings you to discussions of this nature? Following from what you were saying,
I feel
I'm
you.
interested. I'm keen.
I feel you. I feel you. I've been a little depressed lately, um, and just like, what am I doing? Right? I'm self-employed, and I'm a spirit man. I have a room. I got a bedroom full of spirits. My ancestors and the deities are in one bedroom, and I sleep in the front room. And as a young guy, what made me happy was doing stuff in the community and learning about the culture and the history and practicing it and doing it. I was didn't realize how happy I was. Um, and then I kind of left a bit that and said, let me get into